So we're working on doing a quick remodel to our bathroom, and as you can see, we got a bunch of paneling and whatever that is, and I want to just do something pretty simple to this, nothing crazy, just to make this look nicer. So we're going to be putting in new floors, and we're going to be puttying the walls and repainting. So we're going to go over the quick process on what we do and how to do it. That way, if you guys want to do this to your bathroom or your bedroom, we did this to our bedroom previously, and it made a huge difference just being able to get these paneling walls off. So I'll show you guys that process. Now, before I go any further, I am not a professional at this whatsoever. Me and my wife have just enjoyed doing this to our house and remodeling different rooms. So there might be a way better way than this, but this is the way we did it, and it worked well for us, and it's actually really cheap. So the first thing I went and got is this. It's $7 at Walmart. Depending where you live, it might be a little bit different, but this is the first stuff that we're gonna get to start putting these walls. We had to end up ripping all of this beautiful wallpaper off. I didn't think it'd get much worse until we saw the paneling. So the paneling we can work with though, so that's pretty easy. So I will get to the next step after you guys clean all your stuff off the walls, wash the walls down, make sure everything's clean, and then we're gonna get to puttying. So the first thing you want to do is take all your trim off and everything off the sides here, which we already did. Take everything off the walls, which we already did. No point in showing you guys that because every bathroom's different, so you guys will have to do what you have to do. So you just scoop a little bit off onto this, and then you're going to take it here, just like that, and then scrape down. It's a really easy process to do this. You can cover a lot of ground in a really short amount of time. So as you can see, you're just going to do that to all the paneling, and what that's going to do is when this is done and sanded, it's going to make it look a lot more flush and look a little bit more like drywall instead of paneling. We have the first coat done, and we are going to let it dry, and then we're going to apply the second one. So the reason we want to do a second one, as you can see right here, it starts to sink in a little bit, so it's not completely flush like you want it, because when you paint it, then you'll still see the lines. We just finished our second coat, and now we're going to let it dry. It's going to take a little bit longer for it to dry this time because we applied a lot more. So when you're doing your first coat, you want to push down fairly hard to get that into the grooves, and then your second coat, as you can see, it's a lot thicker here and you can't see the lines near as much. You want to use a little less pressure so it's not letting the lines show up, because when you sand it, that's all going to sit flush anyway and it's going to go away, so it doesn't matter. I'd rather use too much than not enough, and then later after you paint, you realize that you have a bunch of lines, and then it'll be a little bit more frustrating. So apply heavily and take your time with this, because the last thing you want to do is come back later and find out you didn't do enough. I recommend having some kind of ventilation stuff. We just have this window on our bedrooms on the other side of this, so we're just going to shut the door. I'm going to have a fan down here and hope everything blows out that, because it gets insanely dusty. When we did our bedroom, we didn't do a great job of covering everything up, and it took a really long time to actually get everything cleaned up. Now we're gonna go ahead and sand everything down now that it is dry. What I like to use is an actual sander because it makes everything a lot easier. You can use a hand one. We did that when we did our bedroom, and it kind of stinks honestly because it takes a really long time, especially if you're doing a bigger room. This is kind of small, so a hand one would be horrible. But if you have something like this, I really recommend using it because it cuts the time at least in half and saves your hands. So this is what I'm gonna use this time. Is almost done. Just have a couple places to touch up. I couldn't get the sander in between there, so I'm going to have to hand sand that, and then everything feels really flush, really good. I'm just going to go around and touch up, make sure everything looks good right before we paint. We just finished painting the walls, and it looks so much better in here, a lot brighter, and it actually makes the room look a lot bigger. So we also have the flooring laid out here just to kind of get a concept of what it's going to look like. And I think that's going to look really sharp, especially once we get the trim and everything up here. So next step is flooring. We'll put that in. We're just using one box, which is $25. So we really have such a small amount of money in this, which is really the goal, to have not much money into it and have a big change, which it is. So really happy about that, and really the only spot you can see here in the line is right here. And I think that's where the drywall or the paneling actually meets. So not a big deal there. That's about the only spot you can see that actually looks like paneling. Everything else looks really good in here and turned out really good. So got to put the door back on there once we put on all the paneling. Other than that, really happy with this so far. These are the corners that really stink because you have a little jagged edge like this, so you gotta make a cut like this. So the biggest thing is just being patient with these. Having extra is a good thing, and just being patient, making a good cut instead of rushing yourself and getting frustrated and having to throw the piece away. So we're gonna double check, make sure everything is correct, and make this cut, and hopefully it lines up really well. am so happy with this cut. Oh my goodness. It actually worked. I was expecting to spend way longer on recutting this over and over. That makes me really, really happy. We got the flooring in and finished, and I can't believe how much it changes this room. So we just need to put the trim up and we'll be good to go on that. There were a couple really annoying cuts, but at least we got to spend some time together and it was fun to do. So that's the thing, it's enjoyable to do together and actually do this and make the house look a little bit better. So the end project will be worth it, and I can't believe it was only $25 for this flooring. Here is the finished product with the curtain and all the trim back up. This room looks much better, looks bigger, brighter. And it was really cheap, pretty simple to do. We didn't really run into too many issues. The cuts were actually pretty easy. We're a little nervous with some of those, but here's a different view. It kind of shows a little better of the room itself. So really happy with how everything turned out.